Okay, I'm really sorry about this. I have been flying. Let's resume. I have been talking to myself. Oh. I've been flying along, talking to myself, because when you stream... So this is the first time I've streamed to YouTube. When you stream with Twitch, you just have to click in OBS, start stream, and it starts. You don't have to do anything at all in Twitch. All that's taken care of by OBS. Streaming to YouTube, you have to click start stream in OBS, and then you have to go to YouTube, log in, and click start stream there as well. So I've been flying along. OBS thinks it's been streaming, and if I go to my YouTube, my creator page, I can see that OBS is streaming to YouTube, but it's not actually broadcasting. So, oh man, let's say it's good that this happens while there's hardly anyone watching. Oh dear. Oh, slightly flustered at the fact that I just spent half an hour flying along and chatting away without actually being live. It's not the most auspicious of starts to my streaming career. Okay, so Salangan Airfield is our first stop, and we fly over this bit of lake. Okay, so that down there is the lake that I can see. Yeah. And that over there. Now, I can see what might be a runway. Let's get down. So that fjord the head of the fjord there that we can see ahead of us. This is where the airfield is. Let's see if we can spot it, because it's just a little grass airstrip that may or may not be on everyone's sims, because I have been informed that not everybody, for whatever reason, not everybody actually has this airport or can see this airport. I uploaded a flight plan and people were saying that, oh, such and such ENSJ doesn't exist. But I'm not entirely sure why, because as far as I can tell, it's not part of the Norway update. It's not a third-party airport. And yeah, if you look at my map, there it is. Peculiar. Oh, that looks like an airport. I can just see a little straight thing. Let's get some flaps on and see if we can actually descend at a fair old rate. Let's fly around a little bit, get lower. Yeah, man, this is beautiful. Okay, so what was I saying? I'll try and think during the half an hour of lost footage. So yeah, so there were technical difficulties starting the stream because there was a crash to desktop. So I was like, what, 15 minutes late actually starting. I was talking about my plans for the future of the stream. That I need to create a logo. I need to create some more preferably animated, sort of away from keyboard streams. Look at that. I love a good river. I was going to create custom liveries for the stream. Hello, Steve Rings! Steve Rings may or may not be one of the people following along with us. Multiple bikes still there. But whether you are or whether you aren't, hello to you. Oh. Rapids, looks like. That's nice. That is nice. It's very nice. Oh. Yeah, so Salangan Airfield is at the end of this river, the other end of this river. Very nice part of the world. Very nice part of Norway. The nicest part of the nicest part of the world. The nicest part, one of the nicest parts of the world. Never been to Norway. Wouldn't mind going. Is Steve Rings landing at Salangan? Don't know. Oh heck, we get turned around now. So we're just going to have a quick touch and go here, and then we'll immediately get back in the air and head on our way to the first airport of the Lofoten Islands, which are a little chain of islands that juts out from northern Norway, where the coastline was designed by Slarty Barfast to be nice and wrinkly. And there's a little wrinkle that juts out and forms a chain of islands out into the Arctic Ocean. I wonder if maybe Steve Rings is one of the people who's following the chat, the stream, but who doesn't actually have an airport at ENSJ. Therefore he's just circling. Maybe he's waiting to see what I do. Curious to see where I actually land at this phantom airport that only I can see. I mean, if that's not a runway, doesn't actually appear in my synthetic video. Oh, it does. And we have a slight headwind. At least we're kind of landing in the right direction. Took off in the wrong direction because after my initial technical difficulties, in my haste to get airborne, I forgot to select to land to start cold and dark in a parking spot, which I suppose doesn't matter because A, I did want to get airborne as quick as possible and it saved a few seconds, and B, nobody was watching. And there's Steve Rings. Is he coming into land? It looks like he might be. Is he going to land like butter? Smooth. And then this runway looks to be uphill. Let's get in this view just because I'm cheating and it's easier, and I've not got crashes turned off, so if I mess this up, I mean, oh. I presume the middle of this grassy thing is the runway. So we're just going to drive to the end of the runway, turn round and take straight back off again. Or suppose we shouldn't really because of the headwind. Actually, yeah, should probably go down to the far end of the runway. So this is the airport that nobody has, or that hardly anyone has. Presume as maybe Steve Rings got it. And there really is nothing here. Oh look, there's a hut. Let's put the flaps up so we don't accidentally take off. Because I am taxiing a bit fast. Oh, actually, there's some stuff. Okay, there's a barn, some hangars. I should do what, if anyone follows Two Tone Murphy, he always Wikipedias the airports and sort of like tells a little bit of a story about them. I'm not going all the way to the end. I'm just gonna flaps down and take off here. Oh. And there we go. Beautiful though. And we're going to fly over this lake, or it might be the tip of a fjord, and we're smooth enough now to have a little look around. And here comes Steve Rings. What are you flying in? Oh. Is that looks like that might be the Vertigo. Yeah, hello there, Steve Rings. Apologies again to anyone who was messed up by the fact that for the first half hour of my stream I wasn't actually live. I think the sun has gone in here, so I think I can maybe open this. Get a bit of light. Okay, we need to get up and over this mountain. Or we could follow the fjord. Let's follow the fjord out. No. Time is of the essence. Up and over the mountain we go. Yeah, I think Steve Rings is flying the Vertigo, which is a third-party, community-created, high-performance version of this aircraft. Turboprop version that can reach something like 300 knots and do aerobatics. So that good old Steve is having some great fun down there. Oh dear. Choppy. So yeah, the Vertigo it's fictional and it's created by Got Gravel, the same guy who has made the Carbon and I can't remember its name, but the other versions of the X-Cub with the big wheels that are great at short takeoff and landing. Steve Rings is over the mountain already. So the texture, the ground texture, this particular bit isn't the best. But hey ho. hopefully, I've got a third-party texture installed for Lofoten Islands, and hopefully we'll see improvements there. Because one of the things with mountainous areas is that unless you've got really good quality, high-resolution terrain data, they're always going to look quite rounded. The top of that mountain. So this mountain is called Tinder. Swipe right if you like it. And I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. Or is it Tinden? Can't see. My plane's obscuring it on the map. Well, let's just get on course. And see if we can level off, see if we can trim. It's not going to be that easy to get this trimmed given the bumpy terrain we're going over. There'll be a lot of bumpy air, and the plane will drift off course quite easily. There's Steve Rings down there enjoying himself, and we seem to be quite well trimmed anyway. We're not, no sign of us drifting obviously off course, so hopefully we can stay in this view for a bit. Let's turn my face off. There, you don't need to see that. Well, just need to make sure I'm back on course. Steve Rings flying through a valley there. A nice place for that kind of stuff. Steve should be the one streaming, really. Look at that. So we're halfway to our next airport, which is ENEV, NFS, which is a kind of new Narvik airport. Starting to rain here in real life. Oh dear. So just on the just beyond the second line of mountains up ahead, you can see some kind of long fjord, and I'm thinking that might be where Narvik is, and the airport we're landing at, Echo November Echo Victor, is a fair bit away from the city as well. Look at Steve Rings go. Just skirts over the ridge of that. Now this kind of mountain scenery is a little bit more like it. Oh, there are artifacts everywhere, but you know, sharp and pointy mountains, cliffs and things. It's kind of what you want to see. I'm going to be flying this mode for a bit because I think it is a little bit more beautiful for the stream. Raged Nutria 7230. Hello to you. Operation Don't Crash Into This Mountain. I mean, yeah, we easy going over it. Wouldn't it be cheeky to put the wheels down and just do a little touch on the top of the mountain? Careful not to knock any walkers that might be on the top of that ridge off with a blast of air from the prop wash of my plane. Oh, this is a lovely little secluded valley, and I'm actually gonna get a photo. See what we have here. Oh dear. Oh, this is nice. This is kind of what Steve Rings was doing. Nice pointy things. I tried to just change the... There we go. Because I've used half the left tank, so... Switch to the right tank so the plane doesn't become unbalanced. Look at Steve Rings go! Go, Steve Rings, go! So let's do something a little bit daring. Don't want to break the plane by going too fast, but you know, fly down through this valley does kind of speed up a bit, and we are now coming to Everness, which is a decently sized airport, I believe. It's the main airport for Narvik. Narvik's previous airport, closer to the city, shows up as closed in Flight Sim. And what we're going to do, we're going to fly over here and again touch and go at this airport. And then get back in the air, and then we will head out to sea. Let's have a touch of flaps. Oh no, don't want the flaps. Too fast. But we are descending, so we will soon be able to... We'll get online for runway 17. The one that we're facing there. And then just bang this thing down. Steve Rings is landing here, I can see. I bet he lands it perfectly, like. Now people are telling me that the stream still isn't live. Oh no. Whoops. Don't need that. Okay, let's get landed here. And then deal with any issues that the stream may be having. But what is going on, YouTube? YouTube, you tell me that I'm live. YouTube definitely shows me as live now, so apparently I'm still not live and still just talking to myself. Although Steve Rings seems to know what's going on. Gears down. And this is another nice long flat runway, and that's good because I can, in a little plane like this, I can land and stop and still have enough runway left to take off again. Bonus. Coming in nice and low. You're not quite behind. Oh dear, oh my god, pylon. You're not quite behind the plane, but on the flip side, you can see whether you can see better to flare, and it is kind of cheating because, you know, normal real pilots can just get a nice little chase view. And so anyway, here are the approach lights. Oh, we've got a bit of a tailwind now. We didn't have that before. Don't crash into the approach lights. Right. Flare. Oh no, don't flare. Oh. Okay. Not perfect. I'm just gonna stick the parking gear on and see if I can address this issue with people not being able to see the stream. Okay, it would seem that I posted the wrong link in some places on my Discord channel maybe, or maybe in other places where I put details of my stream up and some people weren't seeing it. I think it is now. I'll just let people know we are at Echo November Echo Victor. we're still not actually off the Norwegian mainland, so that's a thing. So if you haven't joined yet, all you've missed is me flying from Tromsø to Norwich while mostly talking to myself and watching Steve Rings do aerobatics. So I'm just going to make sure that in my Discord I am posting the correct link. Oh. Okay, so anyone who's joining us now, there have been a few technical difficulties. Some of those are genuine technical difficulties. I had a crash to desktop when just as I was supposed to be starting, and for some reason that I don't think is either my fault or anyone's fault, but is confusing nonetheless, the previous airfield that we landed at, no longer an issue because it's been and gone, doesn't appear on everyone's sim, and it's not a third party one either, so I don't know what that was all about. And then large parts of this stream I think I've been either talking to myself or talking to a handful of people, with other people having followed links that were wrong or broken. So tell you what I'll do is I'll put my camera back on now that people are actually following. Hello! And give it a couple of minutes. I will take a short comfort break actually, so that anyone who's only just now finding out that they can follow the stream is able to join. So I'll be right back. I'll leave this. Right, oh dear. Okay, the stream starts now, I guess. There's Smudgy Leader. I'm guessing Smudgy Leader is one of the people who, because I saw him at Tromsø, but he didn't take off and follow with us, presumably because the stream wasn't working, so he didn't even know we were. So, yeah. Let's just see that we're still streaming. We are still streaming. Okay. Excited for this now. Let's take off, and we're heading to Echo November Sierra Kilo, or Skagen airport in the Lofoten Islands. There we go. So. Okay, everyone, I see Steve Rings over there. I see... I'm going to take off. Again, I have a tailwind because I'm not turning it round. So... flaps are all the way down, and to be honest, if a nice big runway like this and a little plane, it doesn't take it long to get up. Let's just do a little circle around the airport, see who's coming up with us. Gears up, and we'll take the flaps up a little bit. What on earth is that down there? There's Steve Rings. This is actually a free download airport from flightsim.to, so yeah, but you know, I don't think it's a third party necessarily with handcrafted scenery. Okie dokie. Flaps up, and let's get this view behind the plane. There's Smudgy Leader, Steve Rings, Noodle Foo. If you're one of the people watching the stream, then greetings. Same with Lagui Mauve. Greetings to you. So, over there is the city of Narvik. Somewhere at the end of this fjord. When I looked on the map, this is the new Narvik airport. It looks like it's quite a long drive from Narvik, but hey ho. Well, we're actually heading slightly sort of east-northeast. Bearing of around 270, 275, 280. Smudgy Leader is about to take off. All is good. All is good. We are underway. Oh. Okay, let's lower the engine. Let's lower the throttle a bit. Probably that breaks the engine in real life if you do that. Like, just have the throttle all the way up the whole way. Seems to be one of those places where the sim is quite lenient with you. It will break your plane if you overspeed in the sim, or if you do too heavy a manoeuvre while the airspeed indicator is in the yellow area, which you can't see because my face is covering it. Captain Stefan 47, Andy Orm 71. Hello to both of you if you are following my stream. You know, and you might not be. This is probably quite a popular place for people to come and fly. So So not everyone I see is kind of like a part of my stream. It's nice, thanks for those of you who are. Anyone who's here, it's massively appreciated. Just want you to know that. Oh. Whoa, come on. So, this is actually our first island of the flight. There's just a narrow strait back there separating it from the mainland. The propeller controls in this plane are a bit strange as well. Got a little RPM control down there, bottom right. We've got it set to manual. The switch that says auto is inoperable in the sim. I'm not sure whether that 4675 is the target or the actual RPM. I need to look all this stuff up. But you've got the little guide down there for what to set it to. Stub sound. Hello there, you. Steve rings. So I was saying before that I am gonna create my own liveries, and I'm gonna create little decals that I can stick to the front of the plane to show the places that I've been, kind of like you would with a suitcase. And then obviously make these available to download. And we are going in the wrong direction slightly. And the propeller RPM was flashing to tell me that I'm in a dangerous place. But I want speed. Oh, I've got 10 knot headwind. That's no good. Headwind is good when you're taking off and landing. Headwind is not good when you're flying. Okay. Just keep becoming paranoid that I've not turned something on, so I keep going back to OBS, check that I've got my microphone turned on. It's so easy to forget something when you're concentrating on all this stuff. This is why I can see why like Stream Deck and stuff like that sells so well. Because, so like I've mentioned before, this is my first time in YouTube, but I have streamed in Twitch, and you know, there have been a couple of times where I've taken off, got going, and then it's just been friends of mine watching, and then they've kind of like messaged me and say, hey, your microphones are not on. And you know, maybe that's the plan, get a Stream Deck, because then I can kind of bind all those sorts of things to the Stream Deck and easily be able to see whether my microphone's on or not and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, so I've learned some things on this stream. Mainly I've learned that you've got to do an extra little step if you're streaming in YouTube. You can't just click start streaming OBS and away you go. You've got to start streaming ABS, then go to YouTube and click go live. I'm pretty slow here, just because we're just climbing. Just off course slightly, and the scenery is starting to look even more spectacular than it did look before. Brandy051, if you're following me, or even if you're not and not even listening to this and have no idea that I'm looking at you, greetings. Oh, stutters outside the plane. This plane doesn't have autopilot, and something that I've seen that a lot of streamers do is they turn the autopilot on for these kind of stretches, so that they can kind of come out here and enjoy the view and don't need to keep jumping back into the cockpit to make sure that they're going in the right place. But Flight Simulator does have a virtual co-pilot, and you can turn on and they will fly the plane for you. The only problem is I didn't set the altitude on the flight plan, or it's still on the default, so if I turn the co-pilot on, then they'll take me up to 10,000 feet and not land at any of the airports, because the flight plans just treat each intermediate airport as a flyover. You only land, technically I think that's, you know, a flight plan is from takeoff to landing, not takeoff to landing to landing to landing. That will be several flight plans technically. We're not far from our third stop of the day, or first stop, depending on your way you're looking at it. Steve Rings knows the way. Steve Rings knows the scenic route. But if I jump down, you can just see the K on the left of the Oh. You can just see the K there on the left of the... As you can see my RPM there. So my RPM 5453 is the same as what I've set for propeller manual. And then it says 4675 underneath it. No idea why. Not a clue what that number tells me. Doesn't seem to be relevant to anything. Or changeable. Something to do with the auto propeller, but the auto propeller is, if I move the cursor over, you see, it's inoperable. Well, yeah, I don't know. Don't know the crack with that. Yeah, Echo November Sierra Kilo. There you can see it. Solvane 59. Hello, Solvane. So we've got to get over these mountains first. Big old mountains. Big old spiky pointy mountains. Will impale your plane if you try and land on them. And we've still got a fair old headwind, 11 knots. But yeah, looking at the airport, it has a runway approximately, looks like it'd be runway 27, and with that headwind, that is going to be the one we want to land at. Also the fact that runway 27 has water before it. So let's get down here. Bumpy air. I don't know if we can jump into this view or if it's too bumpy for us to stay like this for long. Let's look this way, see what Steve Rings is doing. It's usually something interesting. Ooh. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah, well, we can't do that. So yeah, anyone watching, I am a total amateur when it comes to flight simming. I suppose most flight simmers are amateurs, but yeah, total beginner. Not total beginner, novice. Ooh. And obviously, yeah, I'm not a real pilot either, so like, if anyone here is quite advanced, always happy to hear your tips, especially if anyone knows what the hell that thing is down there, 4675. What's that number mean? Why does it say that? Why is the big number? Why is my actual RPM, the one that I can change, the little number above it, and not the big number? Start descending. I can see like a patch of... let's see. Can we see the airport from here? Yeah, right, so... this island ahead, it's on the corner of that island, so it's kind of down there. It'll show up. It'll show up. There's smudgy leader, stub sound. Ooh, I love this, love this. I feel like we've actually got people with us now. Doesn't... Hi Smudgy Leader, yes, just so I've got a Discord. You can see it in the instructions on the, not the instructions, the details you can see on the thing, Words fail me. Come on, brain, use words. You can see it in the details on the YouTube video. I have a Discord. One or two of the people are in it. And Smudgy Leader, hello there, telling me that there is an autopilot mod for my plane. That's good to know. Might have to use that if I'm going to be streaming, because... Oh, you know what? I mean, if I just set the flight plan to the correct altitude and stuff, I can potentially just use the virtual co-pilot. This thing here. Which, I don't know, in a way, that seems almost more realistic, because I think, oh, I've got a co-pilot next to me, take the controls, I want to take some photographs. My mic is too loud. I'll turn that down, that's doable. Mic. Mic is now turned down to half there. Hopefully, let me know if the mic's fine. Turned it down to like half of what it was. So, yeah, okay, so Smudger Leader, licensing for the year, don't recommend flying the JMB. Be able to explain about other aircrafts and their modes. So, yeah, so what have you got against the JMB, sir? Is it just too slow? It is quite slow. most beautiful landing there, mate. I mean, I think if there'd been a nice headwind, we wouldn't have gone all the way to the end of the runway. So, such is life. But you know what? We're going to turn around and take off from the other way now, because we'll now have a nice little tailwind headwind to take off to. There's Steve Rings in his Vertigo, lovely plane. Helps him do all those fancy manoeuvres he's famous for. Is this as much a leader coming into land? Hello? Okay, so now we're in the islands. It's going to be a lot more short hops. Okay, so we just need to fly down that little bit of fjord there, which looks absolutely stunning. Hello! Smudgy leader, hey there! So, Smudgy leader there looks like he's flying in a 172, but it could be that he's flying a third-party plane, you know, that I don't have, and therefore just appears to me as the 172. Oh, look at this nice little gap. Let's fly through this gap. This. Lovely crinkly mountains. Oh, it was good to see. In case anyone didn't know, I downloaded a freeware terrain upgrade for the islands. So, although there's a new terrain mesh anyway for this area with the Nordic update, this, I believe, especially having flown over some of the mainland before, this is much better. I mean, oh. Everyone into the canyon. We can stay nice and trimmed at least if we don't go over the mountains, so that's a plus. Uh-oh. No! Yeah, airspeed's a bit too high to be doing manoeuvres, so let's go up. And get off a bit of that airspeed. I'm beginning to suspect that Brandy051 is one of the people following the stream, because they've been, you know, I don't know, they seem to have been kind of like roughly following us. Oh, look at this. This is lovely. Oh, and yeah, at the end of this fjord, on the right-hand side, is our next airport. And actually, I think this one is the one where I took the... Yeah, I think this one might actually be the one where I took the... oh, throttle's too high. The one where I took the... Use words. Where I took the screenshot for the video thumbnail. Well, it might actually be this. Love all the little bits of Ireland here and there, and you know, it's like, what's Ireland, sea, mountains, see the runway ahead. Runway, something like 20 or something, 19 maybe. Yeah, 197. Oh, we can kind of start. Yeah, everyone's coming in. I'm coming in fast. Remember, I'm living dangerously, and I'm just going to let this, because I know that the flight sim is going to be quite lenient to me putting the flaps and wheels down at this point. Oh, can we land? 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 Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Living dangerously. Very fast, very fast. Oh, for fuck's sake. Too fast. Apologies for anyone for my language. I will jump straight back in at this airport. I mean, even streamers who are experienced real life pilots tend not to have crashes turned on when they're streaming. They probably have them turned off when they're just flying off for their own, but don't want to take that risk when they're streaming. And I'm the same, even though I'm not an experienced pilot. And I didn't... Well, I just forgot. So, yeah. So here's a problem, but we can remove Tromso. Being there. Ah! The whole thing's gone now. Okay. Right, we'll set departure. And we definitely need to add that. ENLK. Yeah. So it's just that. Let's kick the passenger out. Probably don't need to put any more fuel in now anyway. And let's just start on the runway. Cheat. Get back in. This has been a learning experience. Make sure that I have my audio set up. Make sure that the airports that I'm landing at actually exist. I've still forgotten to turn crashes off, but I just landed too fast at that one. Everything else was going fine. I was just going far too fast because I left it too late. Que sera? Que sera? Sera. So we'll take off from here, and the next one is Echo November Lima Kilo, which is Leknes, which is kind of in the middle of the islands, the island chain. We haven't really lost that much time because I'd have probably stopped and fannied about anyway. We do have a headwind, so that's good. It's put us on the right runway. Don't really need so much flaps. I mean, whoa, up and away. So yeah, apologies to everyone who had to watch me ruin my plane. I see Smudger Leader down there, and presumably Steve Rings is somewhere. Whiff still with us, so maybe Whiff is following along. Smudger Leader is off the runway. Brandy 051 is still knocking about. Let's just do this. Don't need them. Oh, here. There's Steve Rings. And there is the town over there. The town is called Svolvær. Svolvaer. Svolvær. If anyone here is actually Norwegian, maybe you can tell me I'm pronouncing it wrong and causing great cultural offence and potentially a diplomatic incident. And it's just a couple of short hops now, so you know, as first streams go, it's not terrible. Svolvær. So there's a nice looking gap in the mountains there. We fly through that gap and then over another little bit of water, over another island, and come to Leknes Airport. Sorry about that. Echo November Lima Kilo. Some trimming to be done and engine throttle to reduce, and there's a nice little church down there. This will be one of the archetypes that they introduced with the world update, so that the churches have a nice little Nordic look to them. And you know, I like it. And this little village is called Kabelveg. Kabelveg. Kabelv, and then one of them A's with a circle above it. G. You know, you can see this being the sort of place where Norwegians like to come and enjoy the summer weather. It probably is quite nice weather here in summer as well. This is on live weather, so what's the outside air temperature? 9. You know, and we're at over 1,000 feet. We're inside the Arctic Circle. All is good. I guess one of the things that'll get better is, you know, as time goes by, and hopefully I keep doing this, get a few more followers. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Gotta say that, haven't said that. Yeah, so like, as I get a few more followers, then what I've seen a lot of streamers have is they have people who will then kind of like help them out with things like feedback. So like, Smudgy Leader has kind of like chipped in with a few things in sort of private messages. Mic too high, then mic too low, issues with the ICAO code of an airport that may or may not exist. So like, you know, and the more of those kind of like people that I have flying along with me, then the quicker I'll find out and get feedback if there is a slight issue. And so you don't have the risk of, we've just cleared that mountain, it's really nice around here, so you don't have that risk of say spending half an hour flying around talking to no one because you're not actually live, you know. So yeah, what other streamers that people follow? Is people kind of fans of some of the more, you know, some of the more well-known flight simulator streamers, or streamers in other games? Is this maybe the first time some people who are watching have followed a flight sim stream? I don't know. Me personally, I am a big fan of engines too loud out there. Stevens. I'm a big fan of Oz Flight Simulator, Oz Flight Simmer. Or Shane, as he's known, from Australia, and Two-Tone Murphy. And you know, I fly along with both of their streams, and then, you know, I get to really like flying along with people, and end up doing more and more of just flying wherever they're going, and less of flying on my own. So now it's kind of the point where I want to fly to places that I kind of like want to go, and create my own flight plans, but still want to have people with me. So here I am. This is why I've decided that I'm going to stream. Yeah, Smudgy. And this island that we're coming up to, on the far side of it, that's where our next airport is, Leknes, here, Echo November Lima Kilo. So there is, I've got a little nav map up on the other screen. Yeah, I'm a dual monitor kind of guy. I'm a photographer by day, so you know, I have two monitors for that. So yeah, so I can see that there's a couple of kind of like quite large peninsulas, quite possibly that over there that you can see Stubb Sound is above. I reckon that is, so it's not until the other side of there I can hear, yes, I can see Smudgy Leader, some good formation flying there. Look at this, isn't this beautiful? As we're flying over the sea, shouldn't be too hard to get this trimmed nice, and we're going to fly down the turn so we don't crash into the mountain. I love that. You can see over there the Norwegian coast. tractor's drifting away. So we're actually going to need to fly into this, see where Steve Rings has gone. Yeah, we've got choices. Actually, let's go to the left, up this little bay, fjord, and then over the little bit of land, because that keeps us flying over the sea for longer, and flying over the sea means the air isn't bumpy, and I can get nice and trimmed, jump into this view, get some pictures. That's nice. Hello, Smudgy. Oh dear. Oh no. And I went too fast to be pulling off manoeuvres like that. I wasn't trimmed as well as I thought I'd be. But yeah, we're going through this little gap, and then suddenly the next airport is going to be upon us. And what do we know about the next airport? It has an asphalt runway. We know that. That's good, isn't it? Who'd have thunk? And it's looks like a small town, Leknes. Looks to be quite a lot of beach around. So, I don't know, maybe this is the sort of place that you'd come on your holidays. Uh-oh. Yeah. Let's get this. Let's go. So, radio tower here, which may or may not be in everyone else's sim, because I have a mod installed called We Love VFR, and the purpose of that mod is to add all those little things like that that are important for flying VFR, those kind of landmarks, a lot of industrial things and stuff. There's a nice big airfield, so I'm thinking probably a decent tourist destination. You know, you maybe get like regional passenger props, maybe land there. Grand caravans and islanders and things like that. Let's go land. There's Smudgy Leader sorting himself out to land. I don't know, I say himself, I don't know. You can see, like, down there, it's actually a very little stream, but it's been rendered as a much thicker one. Makes it look like it's flooded. But you can actually see the proper size of the stream there, and Let's get gears down. Yeah, we're going at a much more appropriate speed now, so I'm not going to break my plane. Bit of a crosswind. There's Steve Rings landing in the other direction. Hooray! Uh-oh. So... yeah, looking at that windsock, I think we're just going to turn round and take off runway 02, is that? That looks alright. Beautiful. Just put the thing on, check the chat, check. Okie doke. Let's turn the face off. Don't need face. You've seen me now, you know what I look like. Okay, last little bit. Got a bit of a headwind now, which is good. Hello, Smudgy. I'll keep right. There's room for us both on this runway. Yo. Look at that mountain over there, like a slab of cheese. Okay, so the next and final airport is called it's called Rost, and it's Echo November Romeo Sierra, and it is located on what looks like just a little rock right out at the very tip of this island chain. Again, it looks like Stubb Sound might be following the stream because we are heading in the direction of where they are. I don't know. And then, you know, you've got our land here, and you know, then probably make a bit of a quick getaway. I have other things to do today, and we're running a bit late because of all the issues. And but yeah, you know, I've got a Discord. You can get the link in the video description on YouTube, and I will start thinking about the next stream, which, so I've already got some flight plans that I've made that I was planning to use. Some of them are multi-stream flight plans, like ones that would actually be maybe 6 or 7 hours long, and I wouldn't do all at once. Maybe split that over like three or even 4 streams, which is good. I've got one flying around Utah. Maybe I can offer a vote. So I've got one flying around Utah. That is the familiar sound of smudgy, I think. It is indeed. So yeah, I've got one where you fly around Utah, visiting all the key sites, Monument Valley, the Great Salt Lake, Salt Lake City, Bonneville Flats. If you're interested in speed and the land speed records, a lot of them are set at Bonneville Salt Flats, just outside Salt Lake City. And then there's a few, there's Bryce Canyon, Zion National Park, and Arches National Park. Utah's full of them, and there's a few more sort of other smaller ones, and there's quite a lot of freeware bush strips, backcountry landing strips in Utah. There's just kind of like one guy who is making them, so kudos to him. We'll have to drop him a link if we do Utah, let him know that we're doing a stream with all his strips that he's created. Let's get up over these mountains. Other ones, so I've got one that'll definitely be a multi-part one, and it is from sea to source, or source to sea, I can't remember which way around it is, up the Mississippi or down the Mississippi. So from Minnesota all the way through sort of parts of the Midwest, up around Wisconsin area. Well, you got Minneapolis, St. Paul first. You go down to St. Louis in Missouri, and eventually landing, we go past New Orleans and land actually in the Delta. There's some little airstrips in the Delta that are presumably used by like the petrol refineries that are out there, and that's like one of these potentially 7 hour, even in something like a DA62, something like a 7 hour trip. So water masking, it's nice to see a bit of that. It looks amazing where they have actually done it. It depends heavily on the quality of the satellite photography, whether they actually have pictures of it at low tide so that they can see what's under the water, I think. So it's not everywhere, and there's been a few complaints that some of the places that showed water masking on trailers and things don't actually have water masking in the sim. But here's somewhere that has it, and it's nice. It's appreciated hugely. So Mississippi, that's one. I've got one in Greece that takes in Meteora, again a third party download with night lighting as well. So it's like a valley with volcanic plugs. If you've ever been to Edinburgh, and you know the Edinburgh Castle on this big steep thing, rocky mountain hill, that is it's the core of an ancient volcano. Loads of those in Meteora in Greece, and they've got monasteries on the top, and there's night lighting with that. Want to fly over Delphi So it's all on Greek mainland. Delphi. There's. I need to double check because there's actually. I was hoping that somebody would produce maybe some freeware scenery for Delphi, famous place where the Oracle was. Currently, there's none of that. Athens, of course. So, where else have I planned? Now, I did have a longer one that ends in the same place as where we are now. The last bit. So this flight plan that I've put up today is actually the end of a longer one starting in Finland that I created. I don't know if I'll do that because it ends in the same place and we've already done that, but you know, there are other parts of that flight plan around Finland and Sweden. And so I'm from the UK, and I haven't created one yet, but I probably will create a flight plan to take in parts of the UK. And I see a waterfall up ahead. Let's go have a look at that. This looks particularly lovely. So this is something. Is that it looks like a hanging valley with a lake in it. Might not be, might just be perspective, might be sea behind there. Yeah, still at maximum throttle. I mean, you know, it's a fairly decent 130 knots. Bit of water masking there. Some little farms and things, a little jetty. It's lovely. So, like, the scenery is never ideal where it gets steep, even with this third-party download I've got, and also, I actually knocked the stick. I'm just trying to get Also, it's not like waterfalls are animated or anything. It's just the river texture, but stretched over. Just the river texture stretched over a sort of steep drop. So I don't know. It'd be nice if they could kind of like animate waterfalls. Oh, this is a lovely little bit of lake. Loving this. My processor had a few qualms about it. Look at this. And this is like a wonderful little way to depart from the main island chain, because we're going to leave that behind, and suddenly it's then open sea for a little bit. Look at that, another little waterfall. Now that one doesn't have the river texture stretched over it because it's not quite as steep, and yeah, you can actually see the proper waterfall texture underneath, so it looks quite well. So this is the last island of the main island chain. Looks like a town down there. Let's ask little nav map what we're looking at. So this mountain that we're flying over, by the way, is called Mengelstalstinden, and there's a town down there, or a village, maybe more of a village. Tinned. That's a little bit too steep for the texture to handle. See, so what they could do, maybe, because they do use AI to put the texture together, is say, like, this is really steep. Rather than stretch a texture over it, what we'll do is, you know, just put a rock texture on it. Hello, testing. Test, test, test. 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 Okay, I have no idea what's going to happen. Oh, maybe it was just too quiet. Because I know I'm talking to Smudgy, by the way, here. Yeah, so I mean, because you were saying that it was too loud before, so I turned it down. I think maybe I just turned it down too much. I've learned things today. Learned about how to stream. So you can just about see up ahead, below where Smudgy Leader's name is, the last island, which, unlike this one to our left, is not a mountainous one. I've climbed to 3,300 feet, and so I should be able to pick up some speed on descent and be there in not too long. And then, just in case it was too quiet before and no one heard, I will have to then make a quick getaway. I do need to change fuel tanks. Yeah, I will need to make a quick getaway as we're running a little bit behind, and I had plans for Saturday. I was hoping to finish the stream by, well, I was hoping to start the stream at 10 a.m. GMT and be finished at around 12. So kind of an hour late. Part of that I can probably blame my own bad flying, that I'm not really been cruising at an appropriate speed. Too slow. Part of that was the technical difficulties, especially at the start. So I was just getting started and crash the desktop happened. I don't know what caused that. So here we come to the little island airport of Rust. It's just ROST. Echo November Romeo Sierra. And that'll be where we leave it. And you know, like I will just land here and then land, pull over, park, turn off the stream. But I said before, if anyone heard me, I do have the Discord, and if you don't already have it, you can find the link in the video description. If you hop on there, then I will put up plans and potentially a vote about where to fly next, and put up plans about see when I'm going to be flying. So it's 1 o'clock, and I have lunch with my parents booked for 2. So so that's what's happening. Okay, yeah, so I keep forgetting to bring the throttle down to about 75. And a real aircraft will be quite punishing. So so Flight Simulator does model stress damage to the airframe if you go too fast or manoeuvre when you're going at too fast a speed. If you exceed any of these speeds, never to exceed speed, cruise speed, manoeuvring speed. So if you try and manoeuvre faster than 88 knots, you're at risk of damaging your plane. I'm going 127. So where's the yellow marker as 120? That's cruise speed, the yellow. And then there's a white bar further down, and that's kind of where you can put your flaps. Max speed with flaps is 65. Max speed with gear down is 81. So I was actually alright putting my gear down before. I wasn't alright landing at 81. That's when I broke the gear and had to restart. Luek 9193 and Akakut. These may or may not be people who are following the stream. I wonder how many people are actually in stream now. Got 3 viewers. I've had people dropping in and out. It's always good to see. I've had a like. Thank you whoever liked. I'll get more likes on the next one, because the next one will be glitch free. So what does happen here is, just coming into view, the island, it's one of them things where, what's the outside air temperature like? 10. Pleasant, we are in the Arctic Circle. just put the throttle up and let's get there. Okay, as we approach the end, let's put my face back on. We are going up, and we are. I see a little grey. Looks like I can see the airport. Like, I can see a little grey line, which has to be the runway. Going too fast. Try and lose some of this speed. I'm gaining height. And then I can. Right, let's just put the flaps down now. I'm not supposed to, but now we're coming in too high. Got a bit of a tailwind as well. Should really. I'm gonna have to turn round really and go come from the other way. I'm not landing this now. Not here. See Steve Rings and Smudge Leader. I mean, dare I? Dare I? Oh, I almost did it. I almost did it. No, go around, go around. Uh-oh. I've lost all my airspeed, and now... Come on, 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 come on. Yeah, seat of the pants stuff here now. This is the sort of stuff that loses you your pilot's license. But at least we've now got a headwind. I feel more like I can actually land this thing now. Flare, flare, flare. Hello! I'm just going to go over the grass. I'm going to crash into the thing. Stop brakes work. There we are. Thanks everyone for joining. As I turn... There we go. Well, that's me. I now need to absolutely dash off, but I will be back on Discord to talk plans for the next stream. Thanks everyone who joined. Thanks especially to those who followed the whole way. Thanks to... I keep forgetting people's names. Thanks to Smudge. And thanks to Steve Ring. And see you again.